Hello friends, this is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and I have to make a short little video about what I have just learned and or kind of put together in my mind. I have to say something about this new information that I found out, and that is Kerri Russel is going to be playing a major role, and it is a major role, in episode 9. Now, it was teased, I think, about a week ago, or speculated a week or so ago. The character that they were looking for was actually put out something close to 2 to 3 months ago. But with this, I'm thinking that what we could be getting, and this is what a lot of people are thinking, is Mara Jade, or a Mara Jade-like character being added to the new canon. Now, for those of you who don't know who Mara Jade was, she was Luke Skywalker's wife. That's right, Luke Skywalker was married. Now, here's the thing, though. In one of the books, and I actually want to say that it was the novelization of episode 8, it opens up with Luke Skywalker looking on a different eventuality. What would have happened had he turned in R2-D2 and C-3PO? He would have lived on Tatooine his entire life, and he would have gotten married. Now, in that book, it does say that he looks up at the stars, so on and so forth, but that all of his children never actually made it, right? That he didn't actually have kids. Now, here's the thing, right? That could be a kind of a false flag. It could be a false, saying, hey, yeah, Luke never got married. Because in the book, obviously he wakes up from the dream that he's having, or he wakes up from the moment that he's having to realize, sadness. Now, that could be also a prelude to what we're going to be seeing in episode 9. Now, if Kerri Russel is Mara Jade, and if she does or is the wife of Luke Skywalker in the new canon, it would be awesome for a number of reasons. One, it does fan service to the fans, right? Because Mara Jade was a much beloved character, and even if she doesn't have a future in the Star Wars, they could definitely go back and explore her past. Now, that would be really cool. Also, it puts together a different side of the lore that's shown a lot in books, in comics, and in other stories, and a lot of the radio dramas that we don't necessarily see in the movies. And that is that the Emperor had a lot of irons in the fire, and he was doing a lot of different things. And Mara Jade was an assassin who worked for the Emperor. She was Force sensitive. She was pretty bad to the bone. She was pretty sweet. Now, for those of you who don't know the story or who aren't going to read the story, I'll say this, spoiler alert. But what's interesting about this is Mara Jade was a person who stumbled upon Jason Solo, who is in this version, in this iteration of the universe, Ben Solo, and Rey is Jaina. I mean, let's face it, that's exactly what we're seeing here. Even if it's not Jason and Jaina, it's the same concept. People who were close or tied together somehow. I believe they were, if they weren't brother, I know they're brother and sister in the books, but I thought they were twins for some reason. Maybe I got that wrong. But even if they weren't weren't twins, they were still brother and sister. And they're definitely, Ben and Rey are tied together in these movies. And what's interesting here, what is absolutely fascinating to me, is that Mara Jade in the old canon stumbles upon the darkness of Jason. Could Mara Jade in the new canon do the same? Could she play something of a part to the reason why the fall of the temple happened? Now, this is what's interesting. Now, this is definitely where my conspiracy goes into it, right? Mark Hamill's 66. We're not going to see a living Mara Jade. I mean, they could age Kerri Russel to make her look older. What I think is Mara Jade is going to be introduced in some form of flashback, or Kerri Russell's character is going to be introduced in some form of flashback. Now, they've been toying around with ways to get around the no flashbacks in Star Wars. Episode 8 had essentially a flashback, but it was a force back. It was the same stupid thing, right? It was a flashback. We saw essentially portals jumping in Star Wars Rebels, where Ezra was able to go into a different portal and change the fate of certain characters. But what I'm absolutely thinking is either Kylo Ren or Force Ghost Luke or Force Ghost Yoda is going to show Rey what really happened on, essential attempted assassination of Ben Solo, right? So if that's the case, there's a few things that we can kind of, it makes me feel like that's the case, because there's a few things that really make me feel like that's not only plausible, but highly likely, because the age gap. There's about 20 years between Kerri Russel and Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill's 66, Kerri Russell's like 41, so a little over 20 years. The space between the events of the Battle of Crate, so the last battle in Episode 8 was ABY 34, after the Battle of Yavin 34, and between 28 ABY. That gives about 10 years, which 10 years previous to that, Mark Hamill or Luke would have been, late 50s, maybe even early 50s, maybe even late 40s, depending on when it happens. That would have put Kerri Russell, or whatever character she's going to be playing, pretty close to the same age. Now, again, age doesn't always matter, you're as old as you feel, whatever. But here's the thing. I'm honestly thinking that what we could see is that flashback where more of that story, more of what happens at the Jedi Temple is exposed, is explained, and we see Mara Jade die. Now, there's a few things that make me think this. One, we know that there were other people who fought the Knights of Ren. They fought Kylo Ren, so we know a bunch of other people died. We can also, or I guess we can assume, that not everyone at the temple was a Padawan learner. It is viable and just downright probable that there were other Jedi that survived the Purge. We know Kanan survived. We know Ezra survived. We don't know what happened to Ezra. We do know what happened to Kanan. We know that essentially Ahsoka Tano survived, but we don't necessarily know. I mean, she's not a Jedi, but she's a Jedi. I mean, come on. We know there are other light side characters, light side Force users who are able to train a new generation of younglings. Now, if Luke pulls together those people, and so far the entire new canon is focused on Luke going around and exploring the galaxy and learning about other ways that Force people, Force sensitive people are using the Force, the way that they are connected to the Force, what they're talking about, what they're doing. I honestly think that what he could be doing is finding those people and saying, hey, I'm going to put together a school, and in this school, we're going to train people to do things like the Jedi did, but we're going to make some changes, right? Love isn't something to be feared, isn't something to be, whatever. Love is a good thing, right? Because Luke is an optimist. But then you have to ask yourself, what would make the most optimistic person in the galaxy, the person who thought there was still good in Darth Vader, fall so hard? This is what I think will happen. Mara Jade will be the reason why Luke confronts Ben in that moment. Luke may be telling his wife, maybe telling his girlfriend, or whoever she is to him. And again, I do think it's going to be Mara Jade. I do think that it's going to be his love interest. But he's going to be telling her. And she's going to say, look, if you're that concerned about it, approach him. Take him out. Do whatever. She's going to give him advice. Right? He's going to go. He's going to realize what he's doing. He's going to say, no, she was wrong, or I was wrong in doing this, and he's going to realize his mistake, which he did. Ben's going to wake up. Ben's going to do what he did. And then that's the moment when Ben flips out. That's the moment where everything goes to hell in a handbasket, right? Mara Jade comes to Luke's rescue and sees Ben and his disciples, apparently, surrounding a hobbled stone. Mara Jade maybe takes out a few of the Knights of Ren. Maybe that's why we don't see the Knights of Ren, because Mara Jade killed everyone. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe it was after the event that we see them all standing over the dead bodies. I don't know. But what I'm thinking is she sees him there, right? She doesn't see Luke. She assumes the worst. She goes after him. Jason, or Ben Solo, or now Kylo Ren, kills Mara Jade. And what stops Luke, or when Luke comes to, the thing that he sees is not the temple burning, but his wife dead. That's what he sees that makes him drop to his knees, that makes him put his hand on R2. That would be awesome. Now, that would explain why Luke went to Ahch-To to die, because he was hopeless. Because everything that he knew and loved, everything that he had trained these people to do was now gone. And it was wrong. And he'd spent his entire life doing it. And it's just, boom, gone. That would be some gravitas. That would make episode 8 redeemed in a lot of people's mind. It still wouldn't for a lot of others. I get that. That would make, I mean, this is Shakespearean stuff, guys. This is like Macbeth and, well, just about any Shakespeare play, just kind of murder and death and betrayal. And it just keeps going. Man, I don't know. I think that what we'll see is Kerri Russel as Mara Jade. I think she will be introduced in a flashback. There's a few things that we do know. Mara Jade will have mostly scenes with Adam Driver and Daisy Ridley, so Kylo Ren and Rey. I think that it will be a form of flashback. I think that there will be some action. Now, they have been saying that Kerri Russell's character is going to be a major character. Now, that makes me think that major could be one of those duplicitous words here, where it's like major as in like a star of the movie, but major was also described as like DJ, and he was just important to the movie. I think that's what we're going to see. We're going to see a reason behind this. I don't know, guys. What do you think? Am I wrong? Am I right? Is there validity to this? Am I just way off track? Leave a comment in the section below. Like, subscribe, share this video, and definitely let me know what you guys think. This is kind of like an impromptu video, and I really want to know if you guys think I'm right on. Have you heard anything else that may completely debunk this theory? If it does, let me know. And, I'll make a follow-up video, whatever. But leave a comment in the section below. Share this video because I want people to comment. Star Wars for me is all about community, and that community is just chatty. I love the Star Wars community. You guys are a lot of fun. And everyone has their own opinions, and I want to hear them. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong, but tell me why you think I'm wrong. Don't just be like, oh, you're an idiot. Of course I'm an idiot. I get that. But tell me why you think that. Leave a comment in the section below, guys. This has been Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and as always, stay nerdy, my friends.